No, he's kind of a hippie. He doesn't shave his armpits.
What dude do you know that shaves their armpits? Rob's like, all guys don't shave their armpits. Don't look at me, Rob.
Am I right, guys? Armpits and sex tapes, right?
Okay, now when you talk about Rob Benedict online, it's hashtag armpits and sex tapes.
I don't want to call you guys liars.
Okay.
I was shooting last night and I didn't have a chance to take a shower.
Okay.
Before getting on the plane and coming here, and I was wearing the same clothes that I put on the day before. And yes, there may have been a fecal odor.
But not complete.
But I just went into one of the lovely creation staffers' hotel room, and I used their clean towels.
For what purpose?
And their the water. Well, actually, it's funny that you should say that. Because one of the grooming techniques that I did employ just now in Jen in your hotel room, don't use the little towel. Well, I had taken my meet and greet out into the woods, and I think we all expected to find a path. There wasn't a path. We ended up doing the meet and greet sort of in the drizzle on a molding, rotten log, and I had what appeared to be shit all over the back. So, because I'm a sophisticated individual, I took my pants off in the bathroom.
Yep.
I took the white towel, the little white towel, and I cleaned all of the mud off my pants and put the pants back on, so they're perfectly good now.
Right. The towel, however.
Towel should not be used on your face.
Here's my question. I'm going to say, and maybe this is a question better left unanswered, I don't know. But yes, you worked all night last night making great television, I'm sure. You flew here at the 11th hour, you didn't have time to shower, so you admit that there was sort of an essence de feces about you.
I didn't know you were bilingual.
And I get I get that. Here's the thing. Typically when one is tired and they don't get to shower, yes, they might be not as clean as usual, maybe have some body odor. Feces? Like, how do the feces usually get to start with feces, with poop on you at some point, and you didn't shower that off because of work, so the poop remained on you. There's still a gap in your story about you going from
I see what you're
saying.
saying. Yeah. It does beg some questions. Questions, again, I think that you pointed out are best left unanswered.
That's a story for another time.
We'll let sleeping dogs lie.
Let sleeping dogs lie.
Sleeping logs lie. Floating. We'll let floating turds
Maybe
lie.
floating turds lie.
Maybe it was the sleeping dogs.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen? The appearance of this young man means it's adios for me, for Rob, and Matt Gowen. Thank you so much. Allow me to introduce to you, Mr. Misha Collins, everybody.
Come and sing it tonight. He's my angel. Come and make it alright. And he smells.
Now, I just wish somebody here were here and he could walk out and go, "What are you doing? What? Well, oh, he just smells like poop? Oh, right."
Wow. You are multitudinous. How is Chi-Town? So Rob went to school here. I went to school here. Bob Singer spent many years here. Eugenie Ross Lemming went to school here. Chicago is sort of at the heart and soul of much of Supernatural. There's a small and insignificant contingency that is represented by a Texas tangent more than anything. Does anyone here attend Northwestern? Okay, no. University of Chicago? Literally not. Was that applause? Yes? Who's the UFCer? I went to the University of Chicago, and so did Eugene. Oh, hi. How are you? Are you currently enrolled? No. Long time ago. When did you go there? Yeah. 95? Holy shit, you're old. That's when you started? Yeah. You graduated then. My God, you're even older than I thought. You look great for someone that old, yeah. You work or worked? Still don't know what you said. Worked. 2 syllables. I should have graduated in 96, so we were there at the same time. We may be friends and not even know it. Be honest, do you remember me? No, huh? I'm gonna get a closer look at you just to see if I remember you. Oh my God, yes, I remember you. How could you forget me? Actually, you do look familiar. What did you major in?
Finance.
Finance. You don't look familiar. Nice to meet you. See you again, see you again. Okay. Wow, that's so good to meet you. I love you too. I just have chat on the phone with my daughter.
Mason.
Yeah, it's frustrating because you can't understand a word that she says. She's 3 and she tries to talk on the phone with a pacifier in her mouth. Like, Mason, take the pacifier out. What? I don't understand what you're saying. Dad, Bobby said a bad word. Bobby is our imaginary friend. Bobby said a bad word. Bobby said fuck. So I choked her and killed her. Direct quote. Verbatim. What she said. So cute. Bobby said a bad word. Oh, sweetie. I'm sorry. Yeah, I choked her and I killed her. I mean, it's, always going to have to learn something. Would you like to add? We have a sort of tradition here for those of you who are new to supernatural conventions. What we do is we have a great long line of people line up on the left of the room, and a great long line on the right. It's my left and my right, and only the first 3 people on either side get to ask a question. Why do you get in line if you're at the back of the line? They're crazy. Do you have hope? Where does the hope actually die in the line? There's got to be a point past which you know you're never going to get it. So hope dies at right here at the Young Castiel. So this is the hopeless. Is there anybody who still has hope that's back there? Raise your hand. Oh, so you're in the wrong part of the line. Anyway, I don't know why we have this tradition, but we do. People stand up, but nothing happens for them. You, however, you probably are filled brimming with hope right now. Maybe a little bit of excitement, anticipation, fear. Yeah. Would you want to talk about any of those things? How long? No. When did you start lining up? Thursday? How do you get to the front of the line? This is like pulling back the curtain for me because I don't know how all of this process goes so that you get into the line.
Like 2 hours ago, we just kind of decided to sit down over there.
You started lining up 2 hours ago? Yeah? Does anyone ever faint in line?
No, not yet.
You're about to. The girl who is the beginning of hopelessness is about to faint. But you do have a question.
Yeah.
Great. That's a step in the right direction.
Okay, I was wondering if anyone from the Supernatural cast could do a Stonehenge Apocalypse sequel with you, who you choose it to be.
And it has to be somebody from Supernatural cast?
You can pick anyone.
Oh, okay. Then Martha Stewart. What am I dead? What did you say? I'm dead in Stonehenge Apocalypse, so it would have to be the prequel.
Prequel.
Yeah, which I think it's due for, by the way. I don't know why.
I agree.
I don't know why they're waiting so long to do the prequel trilogy to Stonehenge Apocalypse. What's that? 7 more? Okay. You're feeling faint. You're beginning of hopelessness, and you were up until 3. Really? I'm not impressed. I was shooting at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I went. That's right. Oh no, it's not porn. It was Supernatural. Woo, yeah, sexy. No, actually, we were just running through the woods scene. Not sexy at all. Then there was a man. I told this in my meet and greet already. So meet and greet people, cover your ears so you don't have to hear the same story twice. I got on the plane and I thought I'm at least going to get a tiny bit of sleep on the plane. And I reclined the seat. They say you're not allowed to, I don't know why this rule is on planes that you can't put your seat back until you've taken off. It seems, what is the harm that's going to happen if you recline your seat before taking off? Does anyone know?
You'll die.
You're going to die? Safety? Oh, I see. Yeah, right. Because in case the plane crashes and you're comfortable, I don't know what the safety implication is. Do you really? It's you slide out from under the seatbelt. Great. That's a good point. Not valid, but good point. So anyway, as soon as the nose of the plane starts lifting up, I do the recline, and the guy behind me goes. And I was like, yeah, that didn't just happen, did it? You don't do that to another, like a grown-up doesn't do that to another, do they? And then I pretended, I told myself, well, he's doing that because maybe we're not at 10,000 feet or some, altitude where it's permissible to recline and be comfortable. And then I reclined again, and he pushed it up again. Oh my God. And I turned around, I'm like, what is going on? And he said, he was an older gentleman, very kind of surly seeming, and he said, your seat is poking me right in the tummy. Oh. And he said, tummy, and I didn't know what to do. I was completely powerless to fight back because he employed the term tummy. It was so weird that I just had to not sleep for the rest of the flight. But anyway, enough about you. No, I'm just kidding. So did I inadequately answer your question?
I said Martha Stewart.
I said Martha Stewart. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. Hi.
Okay, so you're my idol, and I love you. And I wanted to know who were your idols when you were younger.
Suddenly the entire audience turned into an angry mob. How are you, asshole? because I'm afraid of large groups of people.
Does he smell like ass?
I don't know. I think I had little fragments of idols when I was growing up. Like my uncle could skip rocks really well, so I wanted to be like him in that department, and I am really good at skipping rocks now. Let's see. I don't know. I think I lived in too much of a isolated childhood to actually have any idols. I think my mom was for me in some respects. Or I certainly sought to emulate her in a lot of ways. She broke a lot of rules, and I thought that was pretty great. She definitely sort of stuck to a certain set of principles that she had, and she didn't allow herself to be pulled away from them, even if it meant tremendous inconvenience. Like, she was determined not to have a shitty job. And I actually really admired that about her, even though it meant that we didn't have a house at all. Like, we lived in a tent for portions of my childhood, and we had no money at all. But it always felt like, yeah, but that's fine, because at least mom doesn't have a shitty job that she doesn't like. And I'm not saying like that, but I really do admire that, you know? She would say things to me like, you know, you don't have to go to school. Which I also really think is awesome. You know, only if it's right for you. So she was definitely not confined by the bounds of social norms, and I think I liked that a lot. And it helped. I think it helped me as a kid to feel like anything was possible. And also, you know, I got good at like starting campfires and stuff. There were other side perks of it as well. Yeah. Okay. That sounded like a politician's answer, by the way. Oh, my mother is my role model. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. If you could make a new word and put it in the dictionary, what would it be and what would it mean?
Well, I tried to do that already, and it was abnormal. It was abnormal and awesome combined. It turns out it's actually kind of a cumbersome word that I kind of wish I had come up with another one, though. So, I don't know. There are instances in history of people setting out to get a word in a dictionary and succeeding. I can't remember. I think... What? Truthiness? Isn't quiz that one of those words? Does anyone know? Yes, quiz, I think. That wasn't an etymology lesson. I don't know really what the genesis of the term quiz is, but quiz, I would invent quiz. Thank you. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, so, like, you're really loved and everything. What is it like having such an amazing fan base and everything? Like, what is it like?
What is it like having an amazing fan base? Isn't that a bit of a self-congratulatory question? Who's your prettiest friend?
You, of course.
Quick question. So we're awesome. You are awesome. That is true. You're very self-aware in knowing that this is awesome. I think it's an incredibly I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like winning the lottery. You know, it's an amazing community. It's interesting for me because it's not. Like, I've never been a part of any kind of fandom, and it's not something that I would ordinarily gravitate to. So it's a completely new social environment and social experience for me, and I love it in many, many ways. I feel like it's remarkable to watch strangers be so lovely and caring toward one another. Like, there's an intense degree of support that I see going on in the fandom. Fans taking care of one another in a way that I think is incredibly unusual for like a community that there's no organization to it, there's no hierarchy, and yet people are really taking care of each other. It also feels like, from my vantage point, an amazing group of potential collaborators. Like, I actually feel like if we collectively set our sights on something, we could move mountains. We could do really amazing things, and that's a really exciting, very cool thing, you know. And there's lots of, you know, I mean, for me, I have done that in an interplay with the fandom, you know, around charity with Random Acts, and we built an orphanage. We're building a school in Nicaragua, and that's an amazing thing to be able to do with a group of strangers. And, you know, I've also embarked on Gish, which is a remarkable celebration of weirdness and art and pushing up boundaries, and we've broken, you know, 8, I think, Guinness World Records with it. And the exciting thing to me is that all of that stuff feels like it's just scratching the surface. There could be orders of magnitude more magnificent things that we could do together. And it's also, for me, kind of on a personal level, very humbling. Like, I hear people come up and say things like, to all of the cast, all of us here, you know, we look up to you, or the show has, for some reason, helped carry me through a dark time in my life. And it definitely, when I feel like I'm at a crossroads where I'm about to make a bad decision, or where I'm being lazy or inconsiderate, I often think there are people that want you to be a better person, be a better role model, and it makes me try to be a little bit better person. So there's a lot of good stuff this together.
Okay. So, you got a lot of fan mail, and I was just wondering, hypothetically, of course, if I were to send you an elephant, where would you hide it?
Oh,
really? We have a big props lockup at Supernatural where we put all the props. There's like giant stuffed animals and neon signs and beds and things like that. I would probably tuck it in there for a while and see if anyone complained. Do you have an elephant that you're trying to unload?
A small drawing of an elephant.
Oh, that's much easier to handle.
But I was wondering if you'd like an actual elephant.
Well, I would love an actual elephant. I'm not sure it's legal or whatever, but great deal. It would be hard to explain to Warner Brothers. I'd just be cool with it. It's only going to be here for a few years. Great question, though. Thank you for asking. Hi.
Hi. Since you already know like some of the stuff that's happened on Supernatural, is there any other character that you would like to be other than Castiel?
Well, yes. I would love to. Gosh, there's lots of characters I'd love to play. I think I'd love to play Lucifer at some point. That would be fun. I think that Mark Palladino did such a great job with that character. That'd be a lot of fun to play. Yeah. You? What would your favorite character to play be?
Probably you.
Good answer.
Hi.
So on Wednesday, it was Back to the Future Day.
Yes.
And imagine that Doc Brown, he shows up at your house and he takes you 15 years into the future, in 2030, and West, he's a grown-up, and you find out he's married to Northwest, our great president, Kanye. He says, he tells you that the only reason...
You're painting a portrait of a very apocalyptic future.
The reason he let your son marry his daughter is because he made him change his last name to hers. So my question is, what would be the first thing you'd say to your son, West?
Normally, I don't like the hypothetical questions, but I kind of think that you have really hit upon actually a question that a lot of people have been wondering. What? Don't introduce them. Yeah, I should be very careful about that. I don't know. I'd probably try to see if he can hook me up with a ride on Air Force One. It'd be pretty awesome. I would be sucking up to my son, who is now the son-in-law of the president. He could really do a lot for me. Now, but he's married at a remarkably young age, huh? How long have they been married at this point?
A long time.
I mean,
in the future, it's
how many years in the future were we?
15 years.
15 years. So he's married at 20, but he's been married for a long time. Which means, when you say a long time, I'm thinking probably more than a couple of years, which means I would have had to grant parental consent for him to get married, right? I mean, you're following me?
Yeah.
So would I really do that? To my, 13-year-old son? Yeah, but would I pimp him out to the president's daughter? How long has Kanye's term been at this point? Has he been reelected already?
Everybody dropped out in 2016 and he became president.
He became president in 2016 and changed the Constitution so that he could continue to be president for 4 terms? Shit! Man, thank God my kids are also Canadian citizens. We can maybe head this whole thing off and move north of the border. That was a super weird experience. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Misha. My name is Stephanie.
Hi, Stephanie.
So Jared has his Always Keep Fighting campaign, and you have Random Acts. And I've noticed that recently Random Acts has been doing some more in support of mental health, which is really great. As someone with a mental illness who also works in mental health, I can attest to how comforting hearing words of support from the people we look up to and we love can really be. Sometimes it's 3 in the morning and you can't call somebody, and all you can do is pull up that clip on YouTube and watch it over and over again to just stay here. So my question is, if you could look out into this audience right now and say something to those people who are fighting to stay here, what would you say to them? Wow.
You are the mental health professional. What should I say? I mean, you say the wrong thing in this context, things can go really badly. There's a quote that I really love that I refrain sometimes, which is, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. And I think that that is mostly true. Although I think that there are a lot of times when it feels like suffering is not within our control. And I don't know. I think that there's a lot of people out there, this community again, that really support one another, and that there is a safety net of love and care available, and it's just barely at arm's reach. So I hope that people know that there's a lot of people that they can reach out to. One of the things that we're trying to do right now with Random Acts is we're working with To Write Love on Her Arms, and call in at any hour, and there will be somebody there. Actually, it's going to be an online interface. It will be sort of the first phase. There'll be people who are trained and able to respond to crisis situations, and so hopefully that'll be helpful. But yeah, thank you.
So I'm from Tahiti. I flew all the way from Tahiti to get here, and I'm so happy. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we are glad that you're here as well. Tahiti. Stop it, you mob mentality. Is this your first time? Have you been to the lower 48 before? No. What do you think of it? It's so tiny and quaint here in Chicago, isn't it?
Chicago, yeah, it's tiny.
No, not tiny.
No, I was joking. Chicago is so big.
I've never been to Tahiti.
You haven't?
I have not. What? It's my Have you been to many other countries? No. Where have you been in the world?
Hawaii.
Hawaii?
Yeah.
That's very different from Tahiti. Yes. I was in Palau. Do you know where Palau is? It's in Micronesia. It's just a little bit past your neighborhood. That's where my son was conceived. I don't know how it happened, but it's a very beautiful part of the world. I also took, for some reason, a photo of a starfish tied to my crotch, which I think was a little bit ill-conceived. I already did. Also, it wasn't a great idea. So I feel like we've strayed, though, from the original point of your question.
My original question was, what is your task in flip-flops?
What is my what?
Your task in flip-flops.
Taste?
I knew you were going to ask that. What is my taste in flip-flops? I have a pair of flip-flops that are AstroTurf flip-flops. So it looks like I'm walking on a little piece of grass. They're pretty great. What is your taste in flip-flops?
Simple ones, I guess.
You like the simple flip-flop? No. I really didn't expect to be talking about this. I feel like I didn't adequately prepare for this conversation. What are you wearing right now on your feet?
I'm wearing
boots. Did you buy those boots for this trip, or did you have them already?
They're my mom's.
They're your mom's boots from when she came to America many years ago.
No, she ordered them online.
She ordered them online?
Yeah.
Where did she do most of her shopping?
Amazon.
Amazon is big in Tahiti, is it? Do you have Amazon Prime in Tahiti? No, that must be frustrating. Does that sometimes make you want to move? You can't get 2-day free delivery? No, you want to stay? Okay. It was nice to talk to you. I look forward to seeing your flip-flops. Are you going to be wearing... Did you bring any flip-flops?
No, I should have.
Yes, you should have. Okay.
Hey.
Hi.
So, just tweeted that he's going to be here tonight for...
I'm totally going to throw my bra on the stage.
Well, my question is actually related to Jared and Jensen. If they were forced to be your personal slave for a week, what would your tasks
Which, by the way, does not happen very often. What?
What menial, terrible tasks would you make them complete for you? Just to get back at them for all the pranks that they've done, like pie in the face, all of that. What would you make them do?
First of all, for the record, I want to say that I'm opposed to slavery. However, I would make an exception in this instance.
Indentured servitude, let's do that.
You're right, though. I think that it would be nice to have them do fairly degrading things. I mentioned earlier today in another conversation that I had been in an RV that the toilet had clogged. It didn't just clog, it froze and the pipes burst and it was just disgusting. So it'd be awesome if they could take care of that. I don't know, whatever, the work that I want them to do, it has the terms septic, bilge, leach field. I want them to be working in that arena. I met a guy once who worked he worked for the city of Los Angeles, cleaning the city sewers. And he emphatically thought that it was the coolest job in the world. He was like, it is such an awesome job, man. I've got to take you down there sometime. Awesome.
Didn't he say it was cool as shit?
You're supposed to let me say the funny jokes. Hi.
Hi. What's one thing that you couldn't put on the list for Gish because it was too weird?
No, yes. There are a lot of things that get taken off the list at the 11th hour because they're considered too dangerous or illegal, degrading, or something like that. There were a lot this year.
Oh man.
Shit, what were they? I was really frustrated by the fact that we got so many complaints about my son's item, which was a boat on a plane, and flying the plane with a boat on it, and I think it stipulated it had to be a giant boat.
Yeah.
And people called or wrote and said that it was going to cause plane crashes, and fatalities, and blah blah, boring. And I fought to keep that. And then eventually there was a lawyer, and I lost that one. We had another item the first year. There was an item that was stand on the peak of a roof wrapped in Christmas tree lights at night with the lights plugged in. Which on the surface, of course, sounds harmless. But when you see the first images come in, the first night of Gishwas, and there you see people standing on the peak of a 3-story building, completely entangled in wires, you realize that there's virtually no chance that someone won't die. So we had to take that one down. But there were items that we have done items in the past, like the floating Christmas trees, that were really spectacular. And they may have resulted in some deaths, but we don't know about them. There were airports that were closed because of Christmas trees in the airspace, which I felt pretty awesome about. It's called K level thinking. Do you guys know this term? It's like you think a few steps down. It's like not just the next move in chess, but the other guy's going to do something, then you're going to do something, and that'll result in this. I don't always do that level of thinking. What happens when the Christmas tree then has to come down somewhere? Where does the Christmas tree that's in the sky land? I didn't think through that stuff. Yeah. But there are a lot of items that get culled. There's some that maybe get saved for next year to get tweaked into a more acceptable. They've gotten a little bit less risque, also, the items over the years. I feel like it used to be more nudity and stuff like that. Kind of miss the old days.
Bring it back.
Hi.
He's forced to experience a lot of different human things for the first time. My question is, what's the most memorable and your favorite first major life experience?
As a human? Shame on you. There are kids in this audience. Mom, what's sex? That lady kept screaming at me. Cheeseburgers? I think that the entire sensory experience for Cass was pretty overwhelming. As an actor, I think probably the most poignant was the toothpaste. I was just filling my mouth with toothpaste just squirting it into my mouth over and over again, and eating it. And I felt pretty sick after that. What? Well, but you were already hopeless, so it doesn't matter. In fact, that might be why people in the back of the line have hope. Because maybe someone in the front of the line is going to ask their question. So don't act disappointed. You're one of the lucky ones. Your question otherwise would never have gotten asked. Do you realize that? That was your question? Oh, so she didn't take the question. I screwed up your thing. Many times. That's one of the things when you're working on so many. When you're working in television, one of the things that happens is you learn how to do certain things. Like, we'll shoot many takes sometimes. So many. And if you are doing an eating scene, you don't want to swallow a lot of food because you might have to do that. Like when we were eating, there was a scene in a bar. It was not a bar, it was a strip club. And it was Cass. Cass was, I guess, going to die or something, and so Dean was going to get him laid, right? Seems innocent enough. So he took him to a whorehouse. And I was drinking a beer, and this was really the first time that Cass, in my memory, I think, had really drunk a beer. And we were shooting take after take, and each time I kind of thought it was an interesting choice to really just chug the beer, just drink the beer. And it wasn't really beer, so that was fine. It was just a liquid, about a pint of liquid. And we drank, we did take after take after take, and I was chugging it each time, and I was sort of going, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I might die. And then the director said, okay, Misha, now we're on you. I have an idea. It would be really funny if you really chugged the beer. And the director had been at Video Village watching on the monitors while we shot all this coverage of Jensen, and nobody could see that I was drinking the beer. So, yeah, I almost had internal hemorrhaging for nothing. But that's the thing that, you know, a more seasoned actor doesn't make that mistake. You parse things out very carefully. Like, you don't eat the toothpaste. It's a rookie move. Anyway, I'm sorry that your question got a little bit hijacked by one of the hopeless people. I feel like we got to it anyway, right? Okay, good talking to you. Hi.
Hi, Misha. I was just going to start off by saying I watch the show every week with my dad. Actually, leads into a question. So, you obviously...
There's not a lot of places in the world where you can talk to somebody who has a handle on the end of a donkey jawbone, gesticulating around, and it looks totally normal. She's got the first blade here. It's just... And she's gesturing with it like it's, you know, like a pencil.
So you watch with your dad.
Yeah, and you have kids, obviously, and
Isn't that obvious?
we talked about them, so.
Yeah, okay.
So every time there's like a sex scene or something incredibly violent, it's kind of awkward. The two of us just like sitting in silence, and I was wondering, well, when are you going to like fully adopt your kids into the show and let them watch it, or are you going to censor some parts of it?
Do you wish that your dad censored some parts for you?
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like, if your kids are like, oh, look, there's, Jensen, and, oh, no, he's having sex or something,
My kids have seen Jensen have sex many times. They're not going to be impressed by that. Every time I come up on stage for one of these, I think something along the lines of, please don't say something that you will regret for the rest of your life. I know, that's why I'm reflecting. That's why I'm having this moment of pause right now. So far, I have not watched Supernatural with my kids. I did show them on my iPhone a little montage, because they were a little bit confused as to why I go to work. What are you doing? And I said, I'm an angel. And they're like, whoa, what's an angel? Well, it's not real. I'm not really an angel. You know TV, but they don't really know TV, so it was very difficult to explain. We actually took my son and daughter to go see Annie, the musical, last week, and we've not taken them to a lot of movies. They haven't watched a lot of TV really to speak of, and the entire time, the only thing that West could wrap his head around, he's like, okay. Dad, is this a movie? No, those are real kids up on the stage. Oh, okay. Is it a movie now? So it's all very complicated for them at that stage. So I think that like layering on, all of the elements of sex and violence and stuff like that might be a little bit much for them to handle. Also, it would be a lot for me to explain. Like, oh, they're using that bone to chop off the man's head. Why? Why are they doing that? Well, it's just hard to explain to the kids. Why is Uncle Jensen doing that? That poor woman.
Uncle Jensen.
So, I'm a big fan of censorship, is basically what I'm saying. There should be a little button that you can press, a redaction button that just blacks out the screen for times. That would be great. Watch, your dad should get one of those. I think that it's, well, I took my son to see, or actually I took both of them to see Inside Out. But we had to leave several times for crying and upset. Like, it was so terrifying, that movie. So I think Supernatural would be pretty much. I do meet young children who are dressed as Castiel and stuff, and so I think, oh, they're going to grow up to be a serial killer. No offense, by the way, to the young serial killers in the audience. Are there lights in your hair back there? That's pretty great. What? Salt and burn. Where's Salt? Hi, Salt. You look great, guys. Salt and burn in the. Nice. Very, very nice. Oh, Salt like Morton Salt. That's what the umbrella is. It took me a second to figure out what you were doing. That's awesome. Nice. I thought you were Osric for a second. Thank you. Hi.
So, way back when you were younger, you played...
Maybe let's find another way to phrase this question. Long, long ago, when you still had some life left in you.
You played Eric on Charmed, and I was wondering if you had any memories, or like if you remember what the actors were like. I'm sorry.
No, I don't have any memories. Flashes. But I can't tell if it's a dream or not. I do somehow remember that. So Charmed. I was on Charmed. I guest starred on Charmed. It was my first big role in film or television. It was, it was a substantial guest star role. And I was very nervous because I had no idea what I was doing, and as I should have been nervous. I was terrible. If you can imagine, even worse than I am now. I was that bad. And for example, I learned on that set. I learned what a mark is, and a mark is they put a piece of tape where you're supposed to stop, and that way the focus puller can get you in focus. And they were like, make sure you hit your mark, and I was like, whose mark? Why am I hitting him? Why am I hitting him? I don't know what is going on. I was completely lost. And I learned about continuity for the first time. Like, if you're picking something up at a certain point in the dialogue, you've got to pick it up at the same point each take. Didn't know that. Nobody told me. And it's really awkward when Alyssa Milano is the one that's explaining it to you, because she's like, how did we hire this guy? She was very flirty. Which was nice. We had a kissing scene. My character was supposed to recur on the show. After my performance, they went in a different direction on that script. But so in the script, it was sort of set up like I was a romantic, character, and Alyssa Milano and I had a little thing going, and we had a kissing scene, and she slipped me the tongue. Yeah, I mean, she was batting my tonsils around, and I was like, this is awesome. I love being an actor. This is so cool. And then there was like there was a lot of tension on the set. I remember a lot of the actresses were crying and upset about things. I don't know, those issues that I had no idea about because I was just a lowly guest star. But when there was a little party, everybody went out to a bar one night, and my wife came, and she went up to Alyssa Milano, and she was like, hey, you kissed my boyfriend. And Alyssa, or maybe husband, I don't remember what we were at that point. And Alyssa did not find it funny. It was a very awkward joke. Didn't play well at all. You asked for memories, I'm giving them to you. What else can I tell you about it? Oh, so then subsequently, years later, I did a pilot with, do you know what a pilot is? You do? Oh, aren't you smart? So pilot TV show, and Alyssa Milano played my sister. And because, what? No? Okay. So she played my sister, and when we got to set for the first time, I was like, hey, Alyssa, how you doing? Because I knew that she had a thing for me because she had, kissed me so vigorously. She did not remember who I was at all, which was a bit disappointing. And that's about it. I had a really squeaky voice. I remember that, too. My father-in-law said, if you're going to keep doing this, you should maybe try not to have such a squeaky voice. I saw it, which I thought was good advice. And then I went in the opposite direction. Are you okay? Oh.
And we're back to this.
You wanted to show me an animation? Really? Well, you're crying, and there's about 2,000 people watching. So if I said no at this point, I think that would come across pretty badly. So I think we should take a look at it. Can we put it on the camera, though? Is that possible? How would we put it up on the screen?
Just hold it up, and we'll get the camera to focus on it. Okay. Stand it at the camera.
All right, you're going to just bring it over to the camera. That's good. Okay, we're going to watch this animation. Does it have anything to do with Jensen having sex?
What?
This could be another one of those moments where we regret. She's like, she tricked us, and now she's going to play corn in front of them. Okay, here it comes. There it is. There's the animation. I am too. Oh man. Okay, try not to shake. Wrong screen. We're watching a child's memory game, I think. I feel like we're watching a tech support film. Yeah. Is that an Etch A Sketch in your hand?
Yes, it is, Misha.
I made you an animation. Well, actually, it's an Etch A Sketch. This is going to take a few years. That's okay. There's only a few thousand people watching, so take your time. There we go. That felt satisfying, that little click. So, select. Ah! It is Etch A Sketch. Wait. Hashtagging graffiti.
I don't know if you remember me from the stage chat in November, but that's just it. You really just helped me and encouraged me to be a better person, and you really, really inspired me. And I want to be like you when I grow up. That's my goal, because you do so much for everybody, and I don't know if you know how much difference it makes.
Thank you. That is incredibly sweet of you, and I loved your animation. Thank you. Well, I'm sorry that you didn't sleep. That was also very surreal watching it end on me watching myself. I felt like it almost had a nightmarish quality. Thank you. Who's next? We have a few more questions, maybe? We'll go super fast through a few. Let's do that. Hi. Lightning. Okay, you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's gonna be hard to follow that, but in situations like this where you're trying to be funny or witty,
Just so you know, a lot of the questions have been starting with things like, so when you're sometimes, you try to be funny, or remember way back when you were younger? Way back when you were young?
Remember the olden days?
When you didn't have to try to be funny?
Yeah. Well, yeah, in situations like this where I'm trying desperately to be funny.
Well, besides when you were talking with Claire, what has been one of the most embarrassing or things that you regret saying just in the moment?
Oh, take a number.
Why are you making me really? Why are you doing this to me? No, I've definitely said lots of things. I mean, I think that it's. How about you guys? I was mentioning that before I come up on stage, I always say a little prayer. It's a little centering prayer where I say to myself, Misha, please don't say something that is going to land you in jail, you stupid fuck.
I rarely get emotional.
And I do feel like there are times when, obviously we keep everything very much on the straight and narrow here. It's pretty much just straight up question and answer.
Jeez. There's been problems. There has been problems. Here's what happens.
Yeah, what does happen?
Every now and then things happen on stage because it's so much, it's so loose and so improvisational that things will happen, and you'll get off the stage and think, well, that probably was a mistake.
So, for instance, when Rich was miming giving me a blowjob.
That's exactly. I was going to say simulating fellatio. Sure, miming a blowjob.
This story did happen. Might have been here. I don't know where it was.
It was on stage.
I was here. I'll never forget.
It seemed like a great idea in the moment. And the second I got on stage,
there's a lot of those little examples where you do things just because you feel so free, and you feel like this is such an accepting environment. People aren't going to judge you. Well, that's wrong. That's not true. They are judging you, and it's not cool to get up on stage in front of a bunch of children and pretend you're blowing each other.
Lesson learned.
Yeah. There's a takeaway. Don't do that.
You know the old saying, "Blow me once, shame on you. Blow me twice." There's something in there. There is really a lesson for the kids watching at home and the authorities.
We did it again, my little guys. We did it again.
Damn it. Why'd you rope me into this your panel? Answer her questions. We can move on from this. Or
can we have a different question that starts with something flattering? Not from you?
Okay, so at WorkCon at the meet and greet, seriously, you told me that we're not a product of our past, and that really got to me. And I was just wondering, what point in time did you come to that conviction? Like, what point in your life did you decide that wasn't true, that we're not?
God, that's a great question. I was listening to a story on the radio the other day about a guy who had grown up as a child soldier in Africa, and now he lives in New York and is incredibly well-adjusted and thoughtful, but he had gone through the single most horrific experience that you can imagine. Like, he was kidnapped and forced to be a child soldier, and so obviously that shapes who he was. But at the same time, he managed to transcend it, you know, so I think that there's some sort of transcendence that happens. We are certainly shaped by everything that happens to us, you know. When Rich pretended to fellatiate me, that will forever slightly alter the trajectory of my life, but I don't let it define me.
Really? Because that's how I define you.
I don't know. I don't think that there was a specific time when I came to that particular realization, but I think it's definitely true. Like, we can move past things. Hopefully, I'm hoping to anyway.
With it, you know, God willing, and the creek don't rise, and the therapy pays off, I will somehow erase that moment. Or my children will find it on the web. One of the two.
They will find it. That's something also, a sidebar that I do think about. Is like when the kids grow up, they're going to see this. Yeah?
It's not okay. It's not right. This is the most depressing panel I've ever been a part of. Shoot me now. Here he goes down. He's going to get near her. See, Robbie, there can be love in this room. Is that all dark like you say it is? There can be love in the panel.
I guess you get Rich a hug and then I'll take
Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, Misha Collins.